Namaste and greetings. Welcome to the month of March. My birthday is. Welcome to the month of March. Spring. When you think of spring, what comes to your mind? Many times we think of spring and we think of the new plants that are blooming, and we think of life renewing and those animals that slumbered and hibernated awake into life once again. Spring. In general terms, spring is that time of, or that reminder of, renewal, being renewed. What does that mean? Now, in general, the topic for today is a brand new day. Okay. But just under that is the idea of renewal. So if I were to say, or you got a letter in the mail and it said, it's time for you to renew. If you don't renew it, then you will have to pay a late fee. Wait, renew what? What am I? It doesn't say what I'm supposed to renew. The invitation is to gain a deeper clarity. When we're talking about renewing, what are we talking about? Renewing our physical selves, renewing our minds. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind is a common scripture that many people reference. Be ye transformed by the renewing. Well, that reminds me of when Dr. Holmes invites us to be open at the top, which I always say open at the top and bottom, which you've heard me say. But what is it inviting us into? Greater levels of curiosity, greater levels of remaining creative, remaining flexible, remaining. What is that? And it may vary for each of us, and that's fine. But the general idea, because new thought implies there is a thought. It looks sort of old. I'm going to have a new thought. Well, what does that mean? Does it mean I'm swapping out the old? For example, there was an old phone that got swapped out for a different kind of phone that got swapped out for a different kind of phone that eventually became the smartphones that we have now. And even those, the software, the technology gets upgraded. Upgrade. Is upgrade and renew very similar in energy? If I am upgrading my consciousness, my mental equivalence, my relationships, my relationship with my body, my relationship with other people, my relationship with nature, my relationship with God, am I continually re-examining? How is this going? How does it feel? What am I thinking about it? Have any of my old thought forms, paradigms of lack, limitation, etc., found a way back into the forefront of my life and experience that I didn't even realize that it came back, that it crept back in, that it, whatever that is? Because think of it this way. In many ways, because of our programming, because of our, as Don Miguel Ruiz would refer as our domestication, we are addicted. We have become addicted in general. We have become addicted to the thought forms, the behaviors, etc., that have shaped our lives. And then at some point we found new thought, and new thought gave us a way of examining this and finding out what was life affirming and what was non-life affirming. And we made changes. Renewal. And we learn to let go of the addiction to whatever this stuff was, for the most part. But like many addictions, whether it's alcoholism, workaholism, sex, whatever it is, there's still, it lingers. It can be triggered to reawaken. So our invitation is to be mindful in the present, to be honest in the present. Because when we're not honest, when we're not present, when we're not authentic, it's far easier to be triggered to the old domesticated habits. It's far easier to slip into the paradigm of an anthropomorphic, separate God versus the God of your being, that which is breathing itself as you, the very power and presence of the universe showing up right here, right now, in, through, and as you. It's easy to be triggered back into the idea of, well, I'm not learning the lesson, so the universe keeps sending me this cosmic 2x4 upside the head to get me back on track. That's anthropomorphism, because I'm separating myself and the universe wants me to learn something that I'm not learning. And so the universe is pushing and guiding me to, that's still an anthropomorphic God. We can call it the universe, but it's still a separate something wanting something for us. And because we're not doing it, it does something else to move us, to guide us, to force us. So rather than even speaking about what does God want for me? What does the universe want for me? What is, whatever that idea is, even when we say things like, what am I supposed to receive or do or become? Well, that implies some form of predestiny. Well, who's predetermining the predestiny? Or what is determining the predestiny, the predestination, the who and what I am supposed to be? Who's determining that? So this idea of the old and the new and the ever renewing. Spring gives us the opportunity to, like autumn, let go of the foliage, pause and breathe and rest. And then in spring, let the juices, let the foliage, let the blossoming begin yet again. How do we bring that energy into our regular everyday lives? Well, part of it is by questioning. We renew by questioning, assessing, discerning. It can go by many different names. But the idea is being open to the infinite possibilities, the infinite potentialities of how we can show up more and more powerfully, more and more authentically, more and more transparently, more and more, whatever it is, fill in the blank. How are we invited to blossom, to bloom into the full grandeur of who we are choosing to be? That's, in essence, our springtime offering. To be like the phoenix, to surrender in order to be reborn, to rise anew. So not only is it a brand new day, but that brand new day is this minute, and that brand new day is this breath, and that brand new day is this thought and this word, and now this breath and this thought. And because these things happen so automatically, we don't think about new breath, new breath, We don't think about that. We don't think about the words that are strung together. The words that are. We don't think about it. We simply let them flow. We don't think about the words are made up of letters. Letters. L, E, T. It would take forever if we communicated that way to simply ask someone to ask one of the kids, take out the trash. It would take a long time if that's so. There is a certain flow to how life happens. And we are invited to not simply be in the flow, which we already are, whether we are fighting against it or not, whether we recognize it or not. We can't be separate from life. So we're in it. But to move in it in a way where we are not only in the flow, but we are the flow itself, meaning we give ourselves whatever the spiritual practice is, whatever the mental health practice is, whatever it is that gives us the opportunity to periodically step back, to periodically observe the flow, to observe whatever's going on that, oh, I'm still holding on to this old thought about money and finances and bills and debts and who and who and pause. Oh, I didn't realize I was still holding on to that. Okay. No judgment, no criticism. Observe. Okay. Now, what is my invitation? How do I renew that? What is the practice to move this out of the frame of reference and move this into the frame of reference? How do I continually have a new thought? As children, we don't really think about it because if given the space, children believe in the impossible. How many children, when asked, what do you want to be when you grow up, go through the litany of, I want to be a superhero, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a teacher, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be president of the United States of America. And then as they get older, we condition them, be more realistic. And we turn the dream down. And in many cases, we turn the dream off to condition them to be more realistic. There is a place for being realistic, and there is a place for being a practical idealist. Dr. Holmes often referenced this idea of being a practical idealist, a realistic idealist, a grounded idealist, and whatever words we want to use. But the idea is, yeah, I understand. And yet, I understand that there is a wall, and yet. I understand that there is a war, and yet. I understand that there is segregation, and yet. I understand that there is, and yet. How are we invited to step into the reality of the world in which we live that has all of the things that we really don't want to live within, and step into it so powerfully from this frame of mind of a brand new experience, a brand new thought of infinite possibilities, a brand new thought of infinite possibilities that are so powerful that those possibilities become probabilities and the probabilities become inevitabilities. How do we move into that space? Because as long as there is nothing to prevent this next breath, it is inevitable that there will be a next breath. As long as there is nothing to prevent vocal cords, lip, tongue, etc., from speaking, it is inevitable that the moment my mind, the moment my heart, the moment my essence wants to speak, there will be a next word. The words will continue. It's inevitable. So, how do we bring that inevitability into? We're going to make peace on earth inevitable. We're going to make health and well being inevitable. We are going to make compassion. I just watched an episode of Brain Games on Disney Plus, season 4. I think it was episode 1. And somewhere in there, when they were speaking to, they have the various scientific experts, and they were speaking to one of them, and they were doing an experiment regarding empathy and compassion and whatnot. And without going into all of the details, the end result was they said empathy and compassion are contagious. We are hardwired biologically for compassion and empathy. And when I demonstrate more compassion and empathy, because it's contagious, it increases the likelihood that those that I come in contact with, that their empathy and compassion will also rise, and also spread and rise, and also spread and rise, and also spread and rise. Brand new day. How are we invited to be in a state of ever evolving renewal? Breathe. Thank you for your time and attention. This now concludes our first Sunday in the month of March. And we have 4 more Sundays because the month of March has 5. Breathe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your week. And be a conscious spreader of joy, compassion, and wonder, infinite possibilities, because every moment, every thought, every breath inspires that which is a brand new, whatever it is we desire, a brand new consciousness, a brand new life, a brand new opportunity to create and to live in a world that works for all. Much love and appreciation. See you soon.